and then I'll give my little spiel thing. I think we're highlighted. All right, here it goes. Checking connection. You are now live. Oh boy. All right. No pressure. All right. So we've got IG Live going. Hello, everybody out there. We've got our Zoom link going. Welcome, everybody. My name is Liz Corwin. I get to the honor of sharing a class with you today for the Cure Grace Rising Together series that we're doing, where Cure Grace Warriors share a free class. There's donation links for different nonprofits and stuff every week on Saturdays. So here I am in June. I get the June 5th date. We're going to be doing a present power sequence. It's an hour-long class. I hope perfectly done. I know you IG Livers, if you guys get cut out, throw yourself in a Shavasana whenever you feel like it. Add a twist at the end, you know. But for my Zoom linkers, we'll be on. I'll try to stick to an hour with this. You just need maybe a block if you have one, obviously your mat, a little bit of, let's see, excitement. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the anticipation of getting flowing together. We have an awesome group on Zoom today. IG Livers, I know you guys are all joining us too. So the nonprofit this week is the Give Back Yoga Foundation, which is so near and dear to my heart. I'm a military member and veteran. I'm actually back on active duty orders right now, surprisingly. But they have all of these wonderful programs, mat donations and mat grants for military that I've been able to get to some of our warrior transition programs and stuff as people come home from deployment, and just work with mindful yoga therapy, which deals with, you know, kind of trauma and working trauma out through the body. It's a super cool program. They have a 100-hour kind of training as well. So Give Back Yoga Foundation, I know in the Zoom link, Valerie helped me post that. So again, thank you. This is the Cure Grace Rising Together series. We're going to do present power and we're going to get started so I can use up all the time that I have with you. Terry, Renee, Amber, Christina, I see a bunch of you guys. Welcome. Some of you fell off the page. And again, everybody else that's joining us. So let's get started in front of the mat. And let's just take a minute, because obviously all the commotion of just getting here right now, to feel the feet anchored. Take whatever it is that you need to do to just feel like you can arrive in this place. That it's not that the world gets shut out, we just turn the volume down a little bit. And as you find that nice grounded position at the front of your mat, I like to have my big toes together, you know, the Ashtanga traditionalist, but if you'd like to have your feet hip distance apart, then by all means, please find that. If you want to bring your hands to heart center and just take a moment here to check in with your grounding, with that anchoring sensation down into the earth. A little bit of yielding down and seeing if the earth has anything to offer you back as well. Maybe taking a moment to check in with your locks, and without squeezing anything, just energetically and mindfully place your consciousness there and start to seal in this practice. So we use the heat of the breath in this practice to kind of stoke that fire inside. So let's start with kind of the lower locks. You might start to bring in a little bit of your Ujjayi breath. Go ahead and drop your arms down to the side. So we'll start with 3 sun A's and 3 sun B's. Inhale, take your arms up, maybe even lift the gaze and root to rise. On your exhale, this first one, just to soften in the knees, take a big forward fold, let your hands land wherever they want to, and draw the chin kind of into the chest, maybe even peek up at your belly button. Inhale, lengthen the spine. My fingertips either can come to my knees or my shins, or stay on the earth. Just give that nice little length. And then the exhale, just step back on this first one. Let's come into plank. You can drop the knees down, or if you're ready for it, chaturanga. Inhale, flip the toes, upward facing dog, cobra. And on your exhale, take it back, downward facing dog for this first one. So in this present power sequence, we're gonna try to take some of the fidgets out. And I know you wanna kind of bend into one knee or another. And if you're really, really craving it, do it. But if possible, just take a moment to pause. We'll be here for 5, so we're already on 2. 3, if you wanna bend into the knees, you get a deep bend on this first one, lengthen the tailbone up and back, anchoring into the hands and pressing away. For 4. And 5. Slowly step forward, lengthen on the inhale, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Soften those knees, palms touch. And exhale, arms come down to the sides. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back into plank. Lower down, chaturanga, all the same. Exhale. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then take it back, downward facing dog again for 5. So we're counting with the breath, nice and kind of stoking that fire. Giving that anchoring down to find the root back up. And if you want to, you can take your gaze to your knees or maybe even towards the belly. That's a little bit kind of strong for the neck. So maybe just at the knees or even just at the ankles. See if you can iron out the front of the ankles a little bit for 4. And 5, step it forward, halfway lift. If you're doing the hop thing, by all means, go ahead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press down. Let's come to standing. Look up. And exhale, arms come down to the sides. 1 more, ekam, arms reach. And way forward fold. Trini, halfway lift. Chatwari, step or hop back. Lower down. Good, Pancha, inhale. And shot, exhale, down dog for 5 breaths. 1. 2. 3, 4, and 5. Completely empty. Step or hop forward. Step to halfway lift. Ashtanga fold. Now inhale, come on up. And Desha, arms down by the sides. Okay, moving into Surya Namaskar B. Here we go. Bend those knees. Inhale, arms reach, bend. Exhale, fold. Trini, halfway lift. Chatwari, step or hop back. Again, your choice to drop those knees if you want to. Pancha, up dog. And shot, down dog. Sapta, right foot forward. Warrior 1, spiral that back foot down. Palms come to touch, maybe the gaze lifts. Ashtanga, hands to the earth, step it back, take the flow or skip it. Lower down. Now up dog. And Desha, down dog. Ekadasha, left foot forward. Warrior 1, back foot down, spiral it up. Good. Vadasha, hands to the earth, step back into plank, or go straight to downward dog. Triodasha, up dog. And Chaturdasha, down dog. For 1. Good, stoking that fire. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Step or hop forward. Shodasha, halfway lift. Good, Shodasha, fold. Saptodasha, Utkatasana, chair pose. And Ashtodasha, come to standing. All right, we're gonna do 2 more of those. Utkatasana, drop it down. Maybe sink deep, lift. Exhale, fold. Trini, halfway lift, lengthen. And Chatwari, step or hop back. I'm taking the step today. You can choose your little mode of transportation as well. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, take it back. So we're going into the warrior 1 now. Step that right foot forward between the hands, spread on the back, sole foot down. Rise up. 1 breath in. 1 breath out, hands to the earth. Step it back. Take the vinyasa or skip it. Up dog, there's a lot of vinyasas in this practice, so I really want you to feel down dog, like you have options there. Left foot forward, warrior 1. Rise up. Hands to the earth, take it back, find the flow. Even breath as you lower. Don't be in a rush, up dog or cobra. Down dog, take it back. 5 breaths. I'm starting to feel a heat here. I'm guessing you are too. 3. 4. And 5, step or hop forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana, chair pose. And rise. You guys got one more in you? Let's do one more, right? Utkatasana, drop it down. Inhale, look. Exhale, fold. Trini, halfway lift. Chaturanga, step. I'm gonna hop back this time. Lower down. Good, Pancha, up dog. Shot, down dog. Right to warrior one, right foot forward, spiral it down, come on up. Exhale, same breath out, all the way down, step it back, chaturanga, lower. No rush, up dog, and down dog. Left side, last side, left foot forward, right foot down, warrior one. Try and even out that breath. Exhale, if you need to add an extra breath in, by all means do so. No rush, up dog. Take your time, down dog. 5, nice full, slow breaths for 1. 2, you might start to feel that anchoring, that slowing down, maybe a little bit more connection beneath you. You might feel that fire starting to heat up in the pit of the belly. Maybe radiating out into all the extremities. 4. And 5. Step or hop forward. Lengthen and fold. Utkatasana, chair pose. And come to standing. Whew, you made it. All right. Now we're warmed up. Step your right foot back. We're going to spin to the right. Okay? Turn your right toes out, turn your left toes in, right to Trikonasana. If you like a block, grab a block. If you like your little peace fingers, use your pink fingers, or take the hand onto the shin. I'm gonna go ahead and take the toe. Feels good in my body. If it doesn't feel good in yours, listen, listen, listen. Good, looking up at that left fingertips for 1. If that doesn't feel good, you take your hand to the shoulder. You'll be up here. Perfectly fantastic place to be. 3. 4, I like to have a slight bend in my right knee just to kind of outwardly spiral that hip, but press down to the ball on the foot. And 5, inhale, rise up. Turn the right toes in, left toes out, straight to the opposite side. Cut the hips, take it down, find your happy place. Toe, block, shin, and reach for 1. 2, really use your dristi here. So we've got the dristi, we have the pranayama, ujjayi breath, the asanas and the alignment to find that freedom of the energy in the body to start flowing for 4. And 5, inhale, like I'm holding your hand, lifting you up. Good, turn the left toes in. All right, here's a difficult one. So I'm taking a block with this guy. Spinning back, like all the way to the back edge of the mat. All the toes start to spin in this direction. Left foot's on a little bit of an angle. I'm gonna put the block on the outside of my right foot. Right hand under the hip. Deep breath in to make the left arm long, lengthen. Exhale, start to hinge forward. We're coming into a revolve triangle. So cut that right hip back. You need to have a slight bend in the right knee at first. Go ahead and do that. Either down to the block or down to the earth. If you're really feeling that one, draw that right hip back, draw the right shoulder open. You want to take the hand up, take the hand up. 2. Squeezing it, bringing it out. 3. 4. And 5, untangle yourself. Let's take that block with us. Spin to the side, and then back to the front edge. Block to the outside of the left foot. Left hand on the hip, take a deep breath in, right arm high. Exhale, start to hinge forward. Nice long spine. Hand can come to the block or the outside of the foot, and then anchor into that ball mound of the left foot as you start to spiral. If you got something going on with your shoulders, just keep your hand on your shoulder. It's a nicer, kind of gentler place to be here with this. Hand can stay on the hip. Our hand can go up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and rise it all the way up. Whoop, spin. Step to the front edge of your mat. All right, you guys still with me? Let's do it again. Big step out, longer step this time with the right leg, a little bit wider. I'm gonna take that block, I'm gonna leave it at the back edge of my mat because we're gonna use it there in a second. Turn your right toes out, left toes in, almost like you're setting yourself up for warrior two, okay? Bend into the right knee. We're coming into extended side angle. So you can use that elbow, forearm right under the thigh. You can take the hand to the outside. You can take it to the inside. I don't care, as long as you feel supported, right? So hand's gonna come down, give a little press down. So I don't want you to collapse into this right shoulder wherever you are, even if you're just on the thigh as well. And then for those of you with shoulder problems, this is a really cool way to do with this left arm. Instead of just opening it up and lifting it, I want you to bring your hand to face your heart, right in front of your chest. So everything in the body kind of grows in a spiraling kind of way. And so we're gonna use that spiral as we take this arm forward. So hand comes in towards the heart. So it's like the spiraling and pinky edge starts to spin in towards you and then start to take the arm up and back. Roll that left shoulder open, tuck the chin ever so slightly for 1, 2, you can keep your gaze up. You can look at the fingertips. It's pretty intense on the neck sometimes. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come back up. Spin it in, move back. Other side, left leg up. Bend into the knee, take whichever version that you took on the other side. Hand comes into the heart. Roll the pinky finger in towards you, and then turn to spiral that arm up and open. Just check it out. Maybe try it out. Could be a little bit funky. Maybe you just are like, nope, I like taking it up and over. That's what my teacher taught me. Do that too. Maybe try both of them. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, rise up. Turn towards the center. Let's spin it, all right? You know where we're going. We're revolving everything after we do it. So block comes to be the outside of the foot if you're going to use it. We're going to bend into that knee like we're coming almost into a warrior one. All right, so the hips are trying to square towards the back a little bit more. Hands can come to the chest. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge halfway. Another breath in. And then start to hook either that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. This is a great place to lift the back knee if you need to, or the back heel if you need to, adds a little bit more space in here. So we're revolving the chest, pressing down with the right hand, spin the heart open. 2. If you want to take the hands down, 3. If you want to do that little spiral with the arm, 4, and 5. Inhale, rise up. Take your block if you want to. Spin back to the center. And let's take the other side. Face the front. Bend into that left knee. Hips start to square a little bit. Hands in the heart. Breath in. Keep that back heel down. Go ahead and lift it. All right? It might give you a little bit more room. Or if you like down, leave it down. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge forward. Really push into that back foot though. I want even weight between the legs. Even though we're leaning forward, use that back leg. Keep it anchored down. And then exhale, twist. For 1. Maybe the gaze comes up. Same options as the other side. You can spread the arms. Take that left arm forward and up. 3, 4, and 5. Untangle. Spin it open. Awesome. Step to the front of the mat. Whew. Bend that stance. Great job. All right. Step it open wide. I'm coming into Prasarita. Toes point to the side edge of your mat, okay? Wide legs. Interlace the fingers behind the back. So we're just going to do 2 out of the 4 for those of you Ashtangis out there. So my palms are touching. I'm going to spin this. My elbows are going to stay a little bit bent. Palms touching. Take a deep breath in. Lift the heart. Lengthen up. Even breathe into the back of the rib cage though. And then in your exhale, start to hinge. If your shoulders are not having it, you can either let go, right? You can just keep your hands on the hips. For 2. If it feels all right, tip the weight a little bit slightly forward. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, slowly rise up. Exhale, release the arms. Good. Inhale, hands to the hips, lift the chest. All right, we're gonna do 1 more. Exhale, arms come out and start to hinge forward. You can grab the toes this time. If that ain't happening, fingertips on the ground. Palms on the ground, push the mat forward. So you've got 2 options here, toes or hands on the earth, all right? Elbows splay out to the sides and shoulders don't crunch towards the neck. They lift for 2, 3. I like to even shake my neck a little, just make sure there's some movement. 4. And 5. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, pause, hands under the hips. Take it slow, squeeze the thighs, rise all the way up. So I used to fly airplanes, and one of the ways when we were pulling G's so that we didn't pass out is we would squeeze our thighs and our butt muscles as much as possible. So when you're coming out of this pose, it really helps to squeeze and engage the legs, and it pushes the blood back up the head so we don't pass out. Turn your left foot forward, go ahead and step it forward. Ground. Check back in with your locks, check back in with your breath. Deep step out with the right one more time. Little bit shorter stance. Turn all the toes towards the back edge of the mat. All right? So, you can hold on to the elbows. For those of you that have reverse prayer, if you want to work into reverse prayer, I invite you to do so. Holding on to the elbows is a great place to be, or even just hands on the hips, okay? A few options. I'm gonna hold on to the elbows behind me today. Take a deep breath in again, puff up. So try to lift your heart up towards the ceiling, like there's this string just kind of drawing you up, right? The core should actually engage here when you do this, so no floppy little core hanging up. And then exhale, start to drape the upper body forward and down over that right leg for 1. Maybe chin towards chin, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly rise up, push down to lift. Spin to the side. Spin to the front. One more time, breath in, lift. Exhale, drape it down. Like you're kind of laying frosting on a cake, like slowly, smoothly, using that little butter knife to spread it out and down. 2, 3, try and draw the left hip back, right hip forward. 4, 5, inhale, rise up. Toes to the side. Exhale, step back to the front of the mat, release the arms. Oh, that's the juicy good part. Okay, so extended. We're gonna grab the big toe. So head to knee pose. All right, so if you're not doing this one, if you're like, nope, Liz, that one for the Ashtanga thing is not my cup of tea, hands are gonna stay on the hips. This is part of that present power change that they do. And you're just gonna lift the knee and squeeze it up towards the chest, okay? So that's the other option here for 5. For those of you that like to take the toe, kick it out. Exhale, hinge for 1, 2. When I was in India, they counted a lot faster for this one. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift. And then either take it out to the side. For those of you that just have it lifted, I want you to go ahead and hold on to the shin and pull it in for 1, 2. All right, you might have a toe or here. 3, 4, and 5. Release the leg, shake it out. Let's switch it up. So remember your options, hand the hips and lift, or grab that big toe and kick it out. Exhale, fold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lengthen. And then either take the leg out to the side or just grab that knee and pull it in towards your chest for 1, 2. You can take the gaze. 3, 4, 5. Bring it back to center. And exhale, release. All right. One more standing, then we'll take a little flow into our next pose. So this one can cause some issues with the knee thing. So I want you to have a few options here. One of the options is just a nice figure 4. Option number 2 is if you'd like to come into tree pose. Option number 3 is to give that right heel or right foot kind of this dorsiflex, okay? And then keeping the knee high at first, lift the foot up. I'm gonna spin towards you so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm keeping my knee up at first, heels coming up towards the hip. I'm gonna take hold with my left hand, keep it nice and high. This is where maybe you'll take the bind with the right arm behind the back. Even if you don't have the bind, hold on to that arm. Then keeping the heel high, start to lower the right knee down. All right, you can stay here again, maybe figure 4 for 2. If you wanna fold, go ahead and fold. 3. You're still facing the front. I just spun towards you so you can see. 4. And 5. Inhale, lift it back up. Everybody untangle. Drop that right leg. All right, one more. Left knee up, figure four, tree, or go ahead and hold onto the heel. Keep the knee high first. Holding on with your right hand, nice and strong and flexed. Take hold of the arm, take hold of the foot, whatever feels good, and then start to let that left knee lower. 1, 2. If you have the full bind, and you're taking the fold, take the fold. 3, 4, and 5. Slowly, wherever you are, rise up. Untangle, shake it out to the front. Now let's take a vinyasa, a little bit of a reset. Inhale, arms reach. Dve, fold. Trini, lengthen. Chaturanga, step or hop back. Lower down, chaturanga, or drop the knees. Pancha, up dog. And shot down dog. Immediately go ahead and step or hop your feet to the front edge. Bend into those knees for Utkatasana, your favorite pose. Right? Some people actually like this pose. This one's kind of one of my favorite nemesis, but 2. Sit deep, 3. We're not here forever. Everything's temporary. 4. And 5. Fold it down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take your vinyasa, or just go ahead and step back into down dog. Up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Spiral the left sole of the foot down. Rise it up, warrior 1. Stay here for 5 breaths this time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your gaze up. See if you can do this. Keep your gaze up at your fingertips. Start to straighten the right leg. Turn the right toes in. Keep the gaze up. Turn the left toes out. Go straight to the opposite side. If you fell, you fell. All right, warrior 1 on the left. However you want to get there. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Open up, warrior 2. For 1. I always like to peek at my right hand, just see where it's hanging out. 2, 3, soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. 4, and 5. Straighten the left leg. Turn the left toes in, turn the right toes out. Warrior 2 on the right. Sink it in for 1. Last standing pose for now. 2. Make it strong, make it fierce. 3, 4, and 5. Cartwheel it down. Step it back. Take the vinyasa, lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Good. Take your hands down. We're making our way to seated. If you like to do the hop, we're going to kind of bend into the knees like a little spring. If you just want to drop down to the knees and bring your feet in front of you, do that too. So bending into the knees, we're going to give a little hop and try to take the legs through. And this just might look like a little hop at first, and feet land, and then just sit your butt down. Maybe it's a little bit more of a hop. Bring and straighten out. All right, Dandasana. This is my teacher's favorite pose because it's a lot more difficult than it looks. Hands by the sides. This pose is, honestly, I think it's even more challenging than Utkatasana. But hands next to you, you can be on the fingertips, you can be on the palms, because we're folding just from the hips. So you might need to bend your knees here. I'd rather your knees be bent than this happening, okay? A little bit of bend in the knees, palms towards the earth, spread the collarbones, draw the pinky toes back for 1, 2. We're on the ground now. 3. And this is where 4, the real part of our concentration and our focus. And 5 comes from. Inhale, arms reach. If you keep that bend, keep it, or if you have that bend, keep it. Start to hinge forward. I actually like to start with the bend to get my belly under the thighs. Take hold of the toes, and then maybe walk your little sit bones back or slide your heels forward, but see if you can keep that connection, of belly onto thighs. So the spine stays really nice and long. For 2, 3, 4, nice long back of the neck. Like your little puppy getting picked up from the scruff of your neck. 4. And 5, inhale, look forward. Exhale, release. Let's go straight into Bharavadrasana. So this is kind of the opposite pose. Take your hands behind you, fingertips face forward, point your toes. If you're like, I do not like this pose, it doesn't feel good on my lower back, you can bend your knees and come up into reverse table. All right, so either leg straight or bend the knees, hug the elbows in, go ahead and point those toes, lift the hips, stay here, or look back. 1, 2, maybe your little toes touch the ground, maybe you just wave at the ground with your toes, you just wiggle them. 3, 4, and 5, lower it down. Good, cross the ankles. Let's just do a lift, all right? We're gonna skip the vinyasa. If you're craving the vinyasa, go for it, but we're gonna give a little lift and then drop our bum back down. All right, take the legs forward. Same thing we did standing, we're gonna do seated now. So right leg's gonna come in first. Rock the baby. Give it a little rock. Nice strong flexion in that right foot. Start to bring it up towards the hip. If this hurts your knee at all, then just come into like a nice little tree, little Dhanurasana on the ground. All right, I'd rather it be there than hanging out floppy. Okay, heel comes in, same little wrap, right arm comes behind, hold on to the left arm, maybe you find the foot. All right, if you don't have the bind, don't flow forward. It's totally unnecessary. Okay, totally unnecessary. Just start to lengthen up for 2. For those of you with the bind, if you want to fold, go ahead and fold. 3, 4, and 5. Slowly release. I don't know if you noticed there, I closed my eyes for a second. I always used to get in trouble for closing my eyes in this practice. Our eyes are supposed to stay open because they're just really, really important. But I don't know why, I like to close my eyes, got yelled at for it. So now every time I close my eyes, I hear my teacher in the background being like, Liz, open your eyes. Little rock, Dhanurasana. All right, you might stay here and just give that leg a little support. You might start to bring the heel in towards that hip crease. So part of this, what the heel does is it actually puts pressure onto our belly, which is why it's kind of like, if you don't have the bind, don't worry about the fold at all, okay? So either hold on to the arm, hold on to the foot, hold on to that beautiful leg, find the extension for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Cross the ankles, lift, and drop it down. Come forward. So I do recommend having a block for this one. We're going to come into hero pose. If you know hero is just not your thing, find figure 4 in your back. Knees come together. I like to roll my calves open, sitting back into the block. Hands in the thighs for 1, 2. For those of you familiar with the Ashtanga, this is usually where we do the half hero with legs extended, but in this sequence, it's full hero. 3, 4, and 5. Lift it up, move the block, step it back. If you want the vinyasa, take the vinyasa. I'm gonna skip it, cross the ankles, come through. If you're jumping through, legs come forward. Let's skip Dhanurasana for today. Draw the right leg in. We're gonna come into Marichiyasana A. Lean to the left, all right? My teacher always said 3 things. She'd say palm distance, parallel, and perpendicular. So shin perpendicular, palms distance, feet parallel, or legs parallel, I should say. Lean to the left, get all of the belly, you can even grab hold of it, take it with you, to the inside of this right leg. And then you just might stay here. If your elbow is not clearing the front edge, don't even worry about the wrap, okay? I just want you to stay here and work on pushing the tricep into the shin as you fold, or taking both hands kind of next to that front leg. 2, You got the bind, take the bind, squeeze it in 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lift, switch the legs. Same idea, roll to the right, do your 3 Ps, palms distance parallel, shin perpendicular, lean everything to the inside, stay here, give a little push, right? If you're not clearing for the bind, don't worry about it, and fold. 2, got the bind, take it 3, 4, and 5. Slowly lift. Take it forward, shake it out. Skip the vinyasa, or lift if you want it. Draw the right leg in. All right, so we're coming into Mauritiusasana C. Holding onto the shin with the left hand, take a deep breath in, right arm tall. Exhale, take it behind you. I'm gonna scoot back so you can see my left foot is super flexed. Deep breath in with left arm. Couple options here, either hook the elbow, hold the shin, pull it in towards you to lengthen the spine even more, and then find your twist. If you're going for the whole bind and that elbow clears the front, take your bind all the way. 2, if you have the elbow on the outside, I really like to push my knee into the elbow and push my arm back into the leg, kind of giving those two a little bit of a pressure against one another to lengthen the spine even more. And 5, slowly release, untangle. Left leg in, left hand back, deep breath in. Good. You might even lift that right arm, exhale, either hook or hold on and spin. Good. You have the hook, press those 2 into each other, or the bind. Good. Now as you spin backwards, and we're already at 3, I won't forget counting. See if you can look back with your right eyeball as far as you can. 4, and 5. Untangle. Good. Cross the ankles. Maybe a little bit of a lift. Right? Press down, lift up. Drop it down. Those of you Vinyasa junkies, take the Vinyasa. All right, everybody's favorite pose, boat pose, Navasana. So shins are gonna come up. Option 1, another option, but option 1, option 2, or full boat pose for 1. Lift the heart. 2. Notice all the little shapes. 3 means your body's doing something new or learning something new. For 4 and 5, cross the ankles, lift. Drop it down right into the opposite, or right into another one, second one. Arms up for 1. Good, spread those collarbones. I like to turn my palms up. I don't know why, it makes me feel a little bit lighter. Maybe it works for you. Palms down, I feel like I'm falling. 3, I got the shakes going. 4, 5, hands down, opposite cross the ankles, lift, drop it down. Let's just do 1 more. Shins up, arms up, palms up. 2, maybe play with one leg up or the other. 3, 4, slowing it down here, 4.5, and 5. Take the feet down, lift it up, and drop. All right. Normally we do Bharavadrasana. We're gonna skip it. I'm going to Supta. So take your legs wide. We just got some nice little pops there. Legs come wide. If you can grab the toes, grab the toes. We're gonna fold forward, but I don't want you to rest on the ground. So all of my super hyper flexible people, try not to just flop it to the earth. I want you to stay hovered and spine really nice and long. All right, otherwise hands can stay on the shins. Let's take that fold forward. Toes are pointing straight up to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here comes the fun part. Draw the heels in. Find that nice little flat spot on the booty, right kind of on the, right kind of past the tailbone area. But we want to stay kind of forward in this, and then see if you can just lift up at first with the knees. I'm glad I'm not facing the camera right now. Forward. All right, so staying here, I'd rather the spine be tall than your feet be wide, but maybe you start to slowly kick the heels out and then lift the chest for 1. Maybe lift the gaze 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slowly bring them back in, cross the ankles, lift, and drop it down. All right, so we're about to do the same pose, Supta, but lying down, so Supta Konasana. If that's not happening for your back, I want you to take this instead. I just want you to come back, reclined, take your legs up. All right, maybe you just lift them a little bit and they come halfway. Okay, so if you're not coming all the way into the whole kind of supta pose, legs just come up. For those of you that want to take it, hold the toes, lift all the way up and back. I've got a wall here, so I'm just going to stay here today. 2, 3, 4, and 5. For those of you all the way back, roll it up. Let's try and catch it. Catch it for a second, maybe. You can roll backwards and try again if you really want to. All right, and then instead of flopping this forward, let's just not do that today. Cross the ankles, go ahead and find your lift. Lift it up. Good. Drop it down. Lie back. We get to lie down again. Left leg goes straight. Left hand's gonna stay on the left thigh. Go ahead and take hold of your right toe. If you wanna use a strap, you could use a strap here. All right, start to kick that right heel away. I don't care if your leg gets straight. I care more that your back is nice and flat and supported on the earth. All right, and then start to pull and draw yourself up. Your left hand will slide forward for reclining head to knee pose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, slowly lower down. And then take the right foot out to the side. Pin your left hip down. And maybe your gaze goes to the left. Same count of 5. If you have a slight bend in that knee, keep the bend. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, lift. Listen carefully. Inhale, lower. And exhale, release. Opposite side, left leg up. Inhale. Exhale, draw yourself up. Right hand slides forward for 1. Right foot flex 2. And then I press out with my toes into my left hand. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, slowly drop it down. Hand to the hip. Take it out to the side. Look to the right for 1, 2. We did this standing, or maybe you just had the knee in the chest. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, release. Good. Give the knees a nice big squeeze. Just draw them into the chest. Give them a hug. Love on them a little bit. Good. All right, then you can find a bridge pose here. So soles of the feet to the ground, arms down by the sides. And when you're ready, start to lift the hips. All right, I'm gonna give you a count of 5 as I do a time check. For 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, lower those hips back down. Draw the knees in. Let's rock it all the way forward. Hands to the earth. This time we're going to do the full vinyasa. Okay, so palms come forward. Step it back into plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Good. Come forward into plank pose and lower yourself all the way down into your belly. So here's where we differ a little bit from the Ashtanga sequence, because we're going to do a little bit of kind of back bending on our belly, or I should say back lengthening. Take your arms back, tops of the hands onto the ground, toes can touch. Take that nice big shoulder loop back and away, and then start to peel the chest up. Good. Maybe you lift the legs as well for 1. Push down to the tops of the hands. 2, 3, back of the neck long. Think of being drawn apart versus lifting up. 4, and 5. Without lowering the legs, just bring your hands into kind of Bhujangasana, right? So almost like a cobra. And then peel it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lower down. Good. Press back up into Bhujangasana. Go ahead and lift all the way up. And take it back, down dog. Inhale forward into plank. And exhale, lower. Bring your hands forward into Sphinx pose, and then bring your left arm across. All right, so we're gonna kind of do a half frog here, all right, or Ardha. So drawing your right leg in, keep the left forearm pushing down so we don't collapse into that left shoulder, and then take a big spiral back with the right hand. If you find that foot, start to gently draw it in towards you. If you find the top of the foot and it feels okay to spin your fingertips forward, front of the toes, for those of you that know that extra grip, take it. But otherwise, just kind of holding onto the foot, giving a little bit of draw in, and then spinning the chest back forward. For 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and release. Let's switch the arms, right arm down. Press down to lift. Left arm forward, reach it up and back, bend into that leg. So we're holding onto the inside of the foot as I start to draw it in towards the glutes. Now, if you notice that your knees are totally swaying, try to keep the knees nice and close to one another as you start to find this Ardha. You got the spin, take the spin, fingertips wrap forward over the toes. Otherwise, just hold on to the foot and draw it in towards you. And then spiral the chest forward. 3, 4, and 5. Slowly release. Good. Let's just drop down for a moment. Drop your forehead. Maybe wiggle the butt left and right. Release the lower back. Sorry if you can't hear me. Just wiggling the butt left and right. Release the lower back. Hands next to the chest. Inhale, cobra or full up dog. Exhale, down dog. Good. Ripple it forward one more time in a plank. Lower all the way down. And we're going to bend the knees, both of the knees this time for Dhanurasana. 2 options. You can hold on to the outside of the ankles. You can hold on to the inside of the ankles. I'm going to call it yogi's choice today. So your version, if there are no ankles to hold on to because they're too far away, then I just want you to flex into the feet and start to press them up towards the sky, and the arms are just going to come right back. So you can find the essence of this pose without needing to hold on to the ankles. If you have it, go ahead and kick back. 2, 3, 4, smooth it out, and 5, slowly release, drop it down again for a moment, maybe wiggle the hips left and right, good, hands next to the chest. Lift it up into cobra or full up dog. Pause here. And take a breath back, downward facing dog. All right, we're going to skip a few poses in the sequence, like crow pose and camel pose. And we're going to jump onto our, kind of jumping forward onto our seat again. I love this pose. I have to add it in. It's my absolute favorite pose. Bharavadrasana. So if it's a new pose for you, I'll show you some options, but it's basically a half hero. So left leg comes back, half hero kind of going on. If your knees aren't working in that kind of way, you can take a block and prop up the right hip. So you can sit on a block on the right, the right butt cheeks, kind of resting on the block. If that makes it a little bit more accessible for hero on the left. Then you can either just keep the right foot to the inside of the left leg, or that half lotus position of the heel coming up into the hip crease, all right? So 2 options, it can stay down, it can lift, all right? Holding onto that foot, give a little bit of flexion with it, then he kind of softens down. And then this is the fun part, we take a twist. So right arm comes back, it can rest on the ground, or it can find that bind. All right, inhale, left arm high. And then exhale, go ahead and take the left hand to the outside of that right thigh. Now you'll see in all those crazy yoga pictures, right, the palms all the way down. Do you see how when I do this, I hinge forward? I'm like totally losing everything that I want to feel in my spine right now. So I'd rather just the back of the hands stay on that outside of that thigh and then spin open for 1. I love this pose. 2, feels so like ringing out in my body. 3, 4. If you're not having that experience right now, I totally honor that. You're like, no, Liz, it's not feeling like that for me. And 5. Look forward and release. All right, let's switch it. Wiggle your way out. Again, other side. So bring the right shin back, half hero. You might roll the calf out. If the knee's crying and it's angry, you can also put like a towel behind the back of the knee. And then when you close it, like even if you just put your hand there and then you close it, it gives more space into the knee joint. So if you have a towel or something, you put it right as close to the back of the knee before you bend that leg. And then either into kind of a Janu Shirsasana or half lotus. Your choice. Take a breath in, and then take that hand to the outside of the opposite leg. So the outside of the left leg and spin. For 1. 2, we're getting towards the end of our practice. So really see how you can lengthen the breath. 3. Like it's just rolls into one another. 4. And 5. Stay in the pose, just look forward over the right shoulder. And then slowly release. Bring the legs forward, shake them out. Take that flow, cross the ankles, either lift or full vinyasa. If you're taking the full vinyasa, we're gonna meet back onto our butts after you take it. If you have a shoulder stand in your practice, take shoulder stand. If you don't have shoulder stand in your practice, we're gonna do legs up a wall, or you can just do legs supported, you know, under the block. I'll show you guys that one. I'll do that one. Time check. All right, we got a few minutes. Let's slide it under. Soles of the feet to the ground. So remember, shoulder standers, take your shoulder stand. If you're like, it's not happening. All right, another option. If you're like, I'm getting close, but I can't quite get there, Liz, give me some ideas with this one. It really helps to toggle your shoulders underneath you first. So bend the knees and work the arms back, holding on to each other first, okay, before you roll into your shoulder stand. If that's not working for you, take a block underneath the hips. Find that nice supported place. Here we go for 1. Shoulder standers, press out, ankles over hips, over shoulders. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Shoulder stand, go ahead and start to lower your feet over into plow. If you're on the block, go ahead and lift the hips, feet down, lift the hips, slide it out. I just want you to take your hands down and try and roll your knees in towards you and just support, even if you only get to here. All right, for your kind of version of plow. 2, if you're all the way up and over, think of your butt lifting up. 3, so you shouldn't be able to see that spine. See how right now I'm curved? I want you to lift up through the hips. Lift up. 4. And 5. Maybe you bend the knees. For those of you that are kind of more on your spine right now, just kind of stay back here, kind of supporting the butt, get it up wherever it wants to be. And then let's all slowly roll out. We're gonna find fish pose. So your legs can either be long or you can come into your lotus. So some of you might want to be in lotus when you prop yourself up on your forearms, like you're hanging out at the beach, right? So lotus or legs long. Lift up to the back of the heart, like the space between your shoulder blades is lifting up, lifting up, lifting up. And then either staying here with this nice lifted position. If you have that lotus place in the bind, you might take the crown of the head all the way back. 2, take your pick. 3, you don't have to drop down. 4, and 5. If you are in fish pose, stay there. See if you can lift the legs and point the fingers, palms together towards the toes for 2, 3, 4, or skip this, and 5. Drop it down. release. Let's roll all the way up, very slowly. Take a vinyasa, step it back. Up dog, down dog. And then hop it all the way through to seated. Right. Half lotus, full lotus. All right, if you don't have a full lotus, half. If you're like, I have no lotus, no lotus. Take your arms behind you and just crisscross. If you have the full lotus and you want to take the bind, find the bind with the hands. All right, if not, take a breath in and we're all just going to kind of hinge forward. Seal this practice off for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lift. My IG friends out there, if I lose you, go ahead and take one more vinyasa at some point in your shavasana. Otherwise, stick with us here. Taking the back of the hands, we just got 2 more kind of seated positions. Back of the hands onto the backs of the knees. And then find a mudra. And if you have a favorite mudra, use that mudra. All right, I'm just gonna take my index finger and tuck it in to my thumb. So tips don't touch, I'm actually gonna tuck it in. Right? And then let the palms, the wrists flatten out, iron them out. Drop the chin into the chest. Lengthen the back of the spine, sit up tall. Notice your locks, notice your breath. Notice any changes that you feel. See if you can start to just kind of empty all the contents of the mind down into that stillness in the heart. Maybe you notice there's a little bit more accessibility of flow, a little bit of smoothness of the chi or the energy or whatever you want to call it, the prana coursing through you. 4, and 5. Inhale, look up. Take the hands down by the sides. All right, last little pose here. This is a hard one. It's actually easier if you have a half lotus or full lotus. So I'm taking that because I'm going to cheat. If you don't, draw the knees in, press the hands down. We're going to lift up. All right, press down, lift, and we're going to count fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just joking. 9, 8, 7, 6. Lift back up if you fell. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. Awesome. If you're in your little lotus and you like to find this little transition back, it's just a playful one. For those of you that are like, no, I'm not in lotus right now, step back, take your final vinyasa. If you have lotus, this is a little fun one. You lift up, hands down, belly's gonna come forward, kind of towards the elbows, and then you shoot it back into your chaturanga. Up dog, down dog, jump through. Final place of rest. Let the legs come wide. Oh, I forgot one of my favorite poses, but it was a long way back. Forearm plank. It's a butt kicker. Beryl always makes me do it. She's gonna be really mad that I didn't do it today, but let me off the hook with that one. Let's lie down and just relax. Palms come out to the sides. Legs take out to the sides. Make it even wider than you think you should. Drop yourself in. You know, when I first started yoga, I always used to skip this. I'd always run out of the class early, my first 5 years. And I was missing all the good part. So give yourself this opportunity to just marinate in everything that you've just awoken, everything that you've just stirred up. Think of it as like a really nice, thick, rich reduction of all of the flavors of the class. Knowing that everything that you just did, exactly how it was meant for this moment. And there's no other way that it should have looked or felt We think of these strong practices sometimes as challenging poses, but I think that these final poses of concentration and release are the more challenging ones. So bring all of your attention back to your breath, keeping your focus right on that. Feeling the support of the earth, almost like it's catching you. Releasing any need to be anywhere else. Knowing that you didn't need to earn this, but you sure can enjoy it. Very slowly. Just start to notice the awareness coming back into your physical body, resting on the earth. Noticing the prana flowing within you, maybe a little bit more whole, maybe a little bit more integrated, maybe a little bit more free. Knowing that you created this. information channels open and clear to you, even in a language maybe we don't speak, but we sure can listen to it. Gently begin to start to let that aliveness come back into your fingers and your toes. This new body, this new beginning. And get curious about it. So wiggle them maybe in a little bit different way. Like they had a choice in how you moved, that you didn't tell them, but they could just pick. Moving into the ankles and the wrists. Maybe big morning stretch if that's something that feels very delicious for you. And then go ahead and draw the knees in towards you. Give them a big squeeze. Roll to the right side and just take a moment, pause. And I always like to stop here in this kind of fetal position for its symbolic place of anything is possible. Anything in the rest of our day is possible. That we have a say, that we get to change it and move it. So just remembering what this place of peace and clarity and true listening, actually being able to really hear ourselves. And then keeping that with you, gently press down into your left or right hand and make your way back up into a comfortable seated position with me. We'll take our hands down to the sides of our body on either sides of the hips. And then with a big, beautiful breath in, sweep the arms up overhead, letting the palms touch, grabbing all that does you good and is beautiful in your life and holding onto it and drawing it right down into heart center and placing it there, tucking it away, storing it for a rainy day. And see if this allows you to arrive at a place that feels like gratitude. And if it does, dropping your chin ever so gently down into your chest. Taking a moment to honor one thing today, right now, that you're grateful for. No matter how insignificant to anybody else, no matter if it's weird, the first thing that pops into your head, just acknowledge it, tuck it and store it in there. For this luxury that we have to be on our mats and to spend this time together. To all the teachers that have come into our lives, both the ones we considered good at the time and the ones we considered quote unquote bad. Knowing that everybody that crosses our paths has something to show us about ourselves. I'm so grateful for all of you that came out today, your mid-Saturday to join us, for all of you that joined us on IG Live, although they're already cut off. I honor you, I thank you. This was just, my heart is full. We as Pure Grace Warriors all thank you for what you're doing for yourself, because it radiates out into your communities. So on that note, namaste everybody. Oh, coming forward to say hello for those that were able to stick with us. I know we went a little over.
Thank you, Liz. Everyone feel free to unmute and chat if you like.
I have a spotlight. I want to see everybody.
Oh yeah, I'll remove. Hang on.
Not that everybody else my nose or something. But yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, I got the gallery going. Yay! Hi, everybody. Oh, Janet, hi. You snuck in there. I didn't see you earlier.
I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties today.
Mila, is it Mila or Mela?
Oh, hi, Amber, and Amber's little.
If you guys have any questions, I'll stick around a few moments if that's okay for Val or anything.
Yeah.
Angela, hi, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. That was great.
Have a great afternoon. Bye, Amber.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
Amber.
Feel free to
Thank you so much.
This is so fun.
Sorry, Liz and Val, thank you both. Liz in particular, but Val, I appreciate you every week.
Come on, Janet. No, I'm kidding. It's nice to see you, Janet. I'm sorry you're having some technical challenges today.
Yeah, and I've lost Zoom completely. I think my video's probably
you.
still on, but anyhow, have a great weekend.
All good.
Thanks, Lisa, for joining us. Val, you're like the backbone of this place. You are. This would not go